Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Sagittarius, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of December. I hope you are well. Sorry, just checking that the audio is actually recording. I'm using the, what am I using here? I'm using the Night Sun Tarot for you today. Before we get started, a couple of bits of housekeeping. There will be an extended at the end of this. If you are interested in going a little bit deeper, the link will be in the description box for that. And I have also completed the 6-month overviews for each of the signs, excuse me, running from January to June 2023. The link to that is down in the description box as well. Just go and have a look for that. I have to say they're running at 3 to 4 hours long, depending on the sign. So I think they're well worth the money. They are pretty thorough. Alternatively, you could join the Circle community and get access to all of the extended content for no extra cost. The link for that is also down in the description box. So with that all out of the way, let's have a look and see what's going on with you for December. Can I have 3 cards, please? Cards. There we go. The first one in your recent past is the 7 of Cups. What about current energy for Sagittarius, please? We have the World card. And what's coming towards Sagittarius for December, please? Thank you. The Fool. Now, if there was ever an order that we wanted these cards to come up with, then this is it. You know, we go from, broadly, emotional confusion, not quite being settled on the right route forward, to a completion, an ending, and then the start of something new coming in there. Because the major arcana runs from the Fool to the World, and obviously there's 20 cards in between here. When you get to the World, you don't just stop. You start on a new cycle. You start again, but on a higher level than what you did before. At least that's the hope. If you get stuck in patterning, then quite often you can kind of roll around in the same spread of cards for a little while, but that's not happened here for you. We've got a very distinct end of a cycle and the beginning of a new one, and we've got the 7 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck here, so we've got double 7s too. It feels like everything's kind of falling into place for you. Oh shit, was that not look? I'm sure something about clarity coming was the title of your last video. Let's have a look. Let's give these a little shuffle. Because the 7 of Pentacles is a situation that is not right for you. And that can be in a kind of abstract way, or it can be in a very specific way. So it could be that you've realised that your job sucks and you hate it. Or it could be that you realise that your relationship isn't very good and actually you want out of that, right? Those things could be 7 of Cups, 7 of Pentacles. Because the preceding feelings of confusion while you're trying to work out exactly what is wrong would be indicated by those two. But to have the 7 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck means that the clarity is beginning to occur. Like, it's coming. So do you invest more or do you divest? Do you pull your energy out of something and put it somewhere else? Like, that's the point of decision making there in that 7 of Pentacles. And it seems to me that things are becoming very clear and those decisions are being made by you. And they feel kind of holistic, actually. It's sort of like once you see something, you can't unsee it. And all of the noise, and I think there's been a lot of noise around, just falls away. So, let's get some clarifiers out. Tell me about the 7 of Cups, please. Thank you. We have the Queen of Cups. And we have the Lovers. Tell me about the World, please. We have the 8 of Pentacles and the 7 of Pentacles, but they came out the other way around, like that. And then tell me about the Fool, please. Thank you. We have the King of Wands, which could be you, Sagittarius. Could be a Leo or an Aries. And the 4 of Cups in reverse, with the Magician at the bottom of the deck. Now, let me just flip this around a little second so you can see what I am looking at here. And the first thing to point out is that the major arcana are kind of like the big energies that happen at us. And the minor arcana is what we choose to do about it. They are our responses. Now, if we're not coming at things in the right way, then sometimes they can be our knee-jerk reactions to stuff. But I think there's something altogether more considered about the way that you've been showing up here. There's been a lot of thought that has gone into whatever conclusion that you have come to recently. So we start here with your recent past. We've got that Seven of Cups, a card that can speak of confusion, can speak of illusion, and sometimes not knowing quite how you feel about something. But it's clarified here with the Mother of Cups, which is the Queen of Cups, and the Lover's card. And I think what you've been doing, Sagittarius, is reconciling the feelings that you have about the new start, as abstract as that new start could be for you at this point. There's a sense that something almost needs to be left behind with that Mother of Cups there. We see how it's pointing backwards. Now that could be your past. There's some aspect of your past that needs to be left behind. Or it could be that it's people and situations and places. Because there's a decision to be made here. One that speaks of union and harmony, but that in some way seems to suggest that you need to pull away from one thing in order to achieve that. Now, I don't think that you have any doubts about the decision that you're going, of the decision about the direction that you're going, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't pull a little bit at the emotions. Tell me about this Queen of Cups. Yeah. We've got the Lover's card again. You know, it's like whichever way you go, you're hurtling towards this big, life-changing decision. Yeah. Now, here's an interesting thing. I actually completely forgot about that. When I was doing the meditation before I started your reading, I saw two symbols. And the first was a rising star. And then the second was mountains appearing in front of it. There is a goal here that you are setting yourself. There is some sort of end result that you have wanted, right? And it might be quite far off in the distance at this point. And although you can see the star very, very clearly, there are things that are going to be standing in the way, right? Some mountains are symbols, you know, to talk about hard work and adversity. Like, you can't just walk a straight road to this thing. You're going to have to go up, maybe down and up again and up and down and up again, you know. That, I don't think, bothers you at all. It's the fact that something in your past, or someone who has formed a large piece of who you are up until this point, isn't coming along too. And I can't shake this feeling that this is quite an abstract position. It's not, I'm moving away and my best friend isn't coming with me, or, you know, I'm moving away from my kids or anything. It's not that. It's that there's a whole new you and a whole new kind of life that is beckoning on the horizon, that you are feeling absolutely magnetically drawn towards. And a previous version of you needs to stay behind. And I'm not quite sure where this is coming from, because it like I said, it feels really abstract. It's not that you've been confused about where you're going. It's not even that you've been confused about the amount of work that's involved in it. It's something kind of sideways from that. And I feel like it's a kind of emotional maturity that's come in. I don't know, it just feels a little bit sad, Sagittarius. Fucking Seven of Cups again. You know, maybe going in a direction that 16-year-old you never ever considered might be a possibility. And there's some reconciling with that needs to be, oh, fucking, look at that, Six of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. Right? It's about achieving the balance about how you feel about something, because it's quite difficult to nail it down to one thing. But this sense of that which you've been emotionally attached to in the past being something that you are detaching yourself from, and it being an aspect of you rather than an outside person or an outside situation. It's really interesting, but I mean, look at the doubling up that we've got going on here. It's quite astounding. Oh, I left that card on there. That was at the bottom of this. All right. Because then when we move into your current energy, we've got the World. And we've got that Seven of Pentacles appearing again here. And it's taking much more of an orderly manifestation, right? Here on the Seven of Pentacles, what we've got is the chakra points, and we've got somebody kind of leaning into it. And there's a balancing of chakras that needs to go on. Is something overactive? Is something underactive, right? Where do you put the energy with that? With this, we've got far more straight, predictable lines. This feels like it's to do with logistics to me. So it's like there are things that have to be done. There are certain points that have to be hit all along the way to take you from going in one direction to the 90-degree turn that you're taking. And each one of these is taking, so if we started here a little while ago, it took a little while to get to it, and then it's going to take a while to see itself out. But as time is going on, the amount of time that it's taking to get you to these pentacle pivot points is getting shorter and shorter. And it feels to me that the alignment is happening faster and faster and faster. And we've got this Eight of Pentacles. There is the work that you have to put into it. But there's something, the Eight of Pentacles talks about mastery too. And I love the fact that one of these follows on from the other so neatly as it does. Because we're going from a state of, well, here I've been going in a straight line and now I'm going off in a 90-degree angle, right? And I'm kind of mastering that. And now I'm getting to the point where I can create this incredible web instead. Now, this might be of your thought patterns, of the way that you choose to deal with, whatever it is. But the sense of you having leveled up through your willingness to engage with things that might have bored the fucking pants off you. It might even be your money, right? Sagittarians, I find, have quite an interesting relationship with money. You kind of, know that you need it, but often you really fucking hate it. Because it's felt like it doesn't mean anything to you, and yet it represents either your freedom or your restriction at times. And I think that really pisses Sagittarians off. There that is, which I get, I totally understand. Why is this Eight of Pentacles here? I'm kind of hopped out. King of Wands. Right, strictly Leo energy, but it is fire generally. So it's about what you do. Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It's about what you do, the action that you take. And it feels to me like you've knuckled down to something. And like I said, I feel like this might have something to do with your finances. And you've just really engaged in a way that you haven't done before because there's a purpose to it. Rather than wrestling with money on a philosophical level, which is what I think Sagittarians do quite often. Like, you like having it, but you hate being beholden to it in any way whatsoever. It's seeing it as a means to an end. And this is the thing that's broken you through to the other side. It's a means to an end to take you where you want to go. And with this Three of Pentacles, perhaps you're working together with somebody else in order to bring that about. This isn't a solo proposition, it seems, that is going on here. So whether this is to do with your work, or whether this is to do with where you live, or some aspect of your social life, right? We can see it kind of permeating all the way through here. The fact that there is something here that you have stepped up to and are now becoming a master of is huge, because it's breaking you out of some sort of mental restriction that you've been in before, but it's having real world tangible benefits too. And you're not on your own. You're not doing this on your own. There's some other person here who seems to be working in a state of alignment with you, also doing their bit. And it's all about tying up these loose ends, right? So again, in the abstract, you're coming to the end of a cycle because you have knuckled down to something that you haven't really seen the point of up until this point. But you've discovered the point, you've discovered the meaning, and now this is something that you're becoming really good at. But it's also an end of a physical cycle too, which could be, like I said, where you live or where you work or what you do with your spare time, your lifestyle choices. All of these are highlighted here. And so then when we come to what is going on with you in December, beautifully, we have the Fool. The Fool, like I said, Aries energy, it's the initiatory point of the major arcana, and it should, if everything's working properly, follow on directly from the world, and here it is. And it's clarified by this King of Wands, again, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius, what you are doing. And this Four of Cups in reverse, which I think is absolutely beautiful, because the Four of Cups in reverse for me just says straight up gratitude. Right? Embracing that which is offered to you and valuing it for what it is. Without there being any kind of fight, interestingly. We've got the Nine of Wands in reverse, we've got the Four of Pentacles in reverse, and we've got the Nine of Pentacles here. And it's like, yeah, look at that, Three of Cups down there too. Like, you can do things on your own, or you can do it with somebody else. But you can do it. It's kind of what that's what the message is here. You can do it, whichever way it is. But I feel such a swell of I don't know, it's not quite excitement, it's definitely gratitude, but there's something else mixed in there too, and I'm not sure what that is. I'm going to try and sit with that for a second and work out what that extra feeling is. It feels like the world's opening up for you, Sagittarius, in a way that you didn't anticipate. Now, we often talk about this card talking about boundaries and things like that, but it also talks about, a need to be resilient in a situation. When you look at the slightly guarded look that this dude's got on his face here, it's like he's expecting trouble. We don't have a sense of that here. Right? There's something very fucking chill about the way that you're turning up to this. And we have the Four of Pentacles. Now, the fact that the Four of Pentacles is here with the Nine of Pentacles means you're holding on to exactly what is important and literally nothing else. Sometimes the Four of Pentacles talks about it's miser energy, right? It's somebody who's clamping down too hard on something and they're not letting it move. But there's no card in the tarot that is all good and all bad. And so the lighter version of this card is an identification of what exactly is important. And I feel there's echoes of whatever's gone on here in the present energy. So that it's kind of like retaining the seeds that are going to grow into something else. And the fact that it's the Nine of Pentacles makes me really happy, because it's about you and how you feel. Independent but part of something. We talk about the Nine of Pentacles being self-sufficiency and independence and all that sort of thing, and you might be planning to relocate yourself to somewhere where you can be self-sufficient after doing 12 of those 6-month overviews. That's 37 hours of video, by the way. I just want to drop that in there. Like, that's a full fucking working week. I couldn't believe it took so long. Anyway. It might be a good idea if you were doing that. But even if you're not, it's that state of independence within something that is nurturing and growing and full of potential. And not just short-term potential. Like, you feel to me, Sagittarius, like you're invested in the long term. And what's really amazing about this is because Sagittarius is the energy of here, now, gone, tomorrow, right? Traditionally speaking, that's what you generally come to represent. But what I'm seeing here is a delayed gratification. I feel sure this has come up in one of your other readings relatively recently. We've got the Magician here. And the Magician is combining his resources with intent, right? The resources being the aces that he has access to there. And he's adding his intent so that he can manifest the kind of life that he wants. But the idea of what it is that you want from your life has shifted so much in the last 2 years. That there's something here that actually is worthy of investment in the long term for you. So you can take this thing and go, I know that I might not see the benefit of this truly until 2 years hence, but I'm willing to put myself in here and do it. What it is so important, and it means so much to me, and I want it that much, and I'm so fucking grateful for everything around it that there's no doubt in my mind at all that this is going to pull off. We've got the Three of Cups here at the bottom of the deck, and I think whether you like it or not, Sag, that there's going to be an increased sociability aspect. You know, it's kind of always the way towards when you get towards the holidays or Christmas time, you know, whether it's seeing family or seeing friends or whatever, you know, Christmas parties, that kind of thing. But there's something moving into Sagittarius, and I cannot remember what it is. I remember coming across it in a Leo astrology video and saying, yeah, everybody's going to feel a little bit more sociable. Well, there are going to be some important conversations that you have in December that come about as a result of that. But this is incredibly strong, because what it's saying is you've done all of the groundwork here. And so what it is that you're working towards, there's no reason why it's not going to happen. Like, all of the conditions are being met. And more than that, there's an incredible amount of personal growth in here in terms of how far you're willing to suspend the acquisition of the benefit. That's massive, Sagittarius. It's like, you know what the goal is, and it's actually okay if you don't go and find where you've thrown that arrow, right? You can meander to it. It's cool because it's there and it's doing its thing. You're drawn kind of as if by an invisible string to your arrow. This is really interesting. Right, I'm going to go over to Vimeo now. So if you would like to join me over there, we're going to pull December apart a little bit, because it feels multifaceted to me. It feels like there's lots of things going on. There's stuff going on with you personally. There's stuff going on with you outside as well. There's a lot of movement in both of these areas, inside and out. We're keeping time with each other, I would think, actually. But I guess the TLDR is you feel comfortable pulling out of your comfort zone, which I reckon probably only Sag is capable of doing. Maybe Capricorn at times in places, you know. You feel like you're up for it, Sag. That's the way that I would put this. Well up for it. Up for the frisk, as my partner would say. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I really hope that this helped. If you want to come over to Vimeo, do please feel free. And don't forget about those 6-month overviews, because I think they're important. So know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.